Yehovah, please fill me with the Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name, amen. We'll start with the Shema, listen and obey. Children of Yehovah, pay careful attention and respond. Yehovah is our power and authority. Yehovah works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yehovah with your power and authority, with your thoughts in mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. Hand, behold, nail, behold. Genesis chapter 50. Yosef fell on his father's face, wept over him, and kissed him. Then Yosef ordered the physicians in his service to embalm his father. So the physicians embalmed Israel. 40 days were spent at this, the normal amount of time for embalming. Then the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. Then the period of mourning was over. Yosef addressed to the household of Pharaoh, I would like to ask a favor. Tell Pharaoh, my father had me swear an oath. He said, I'm going to die. You are to bury me in my grave, which I dug for myself in the land of Canaan. Therefore I beg you, let me go up and bury my father. I will return. Pharaoh responded, go up and bury your father as he made you swear. So Yosef went up to bury his father. With him went all Pharaoh's servants, the leaders of his household and the leaders of the land of Egypt, along with the entire household of Yosef, his brothers and his father's household. Only their little ones, their flocks, and their cattle did they leave in the land of Goshen. Moreover, there went with him both chariots and horsemen. It was a very large caravan. When they arrived at the threshing floor in Atad, beyond the Yarden, they raised a loud and bitter lamentation, mourning for his father 7 days. When the local inhabitants, the Canaani, saw the mourning on the floor at Atad, they said, how bitterly the Egyptians are mourning. This is why the place was given the name Avel Mitzrayim, mourning of Egypt. There beyond the Yarden, his sons did to him as he had ordered them to do. They carried him in the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave in the field of Machpelah, which Abraham had bought along with the field as a burial place belonging to him from Ephron the Hittite by Mamre. Then, after burying his father, Yosef returned to Egypt, he, his brothers, and all who had gone up with him to bury his father. Realizing that their father was dead, Yosef's brothers said, Yosef may hate us, and now pay us back in full for all the suffering we caused him. So they sent a message to Yosef which said, your father gave this order before he died. Say to Yosef, I beg you now, please forgive your brother's crime and wickedness in doing you harm. So now we beg of you, forgive the crime of the servants of the God of your father. Yosef wept when they spoke to him. And his brothers too came, prostrated themselves before him, and said, here, we are your slaves. But Yosef said to them, don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You meant to do me harm, but God meant it for good, so that it would come about, as it is today, with many people's lives being saved. So don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your little ones. In this way, he comforted them, speaking kindly to them. Yosef continued living in Egypt, he and his father's household. Yosef lived 110 years. Yosef lived to see Ephraim's great-grandchildren, and the children of Manasseh's son Machir were born on Yosef's knees. Yosef said to his brothers, I am dying, but God will surely remember you and bring you out of this land, to the land which he swore to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Then Yosef took an oath for the sons of Israel. God will surely remember you and you are to carry up my bones from here. So Joseph died at the age of 110, and they embalmed him and put him in a coffin in Egypt. Hazach, hazach, vinetz chazach. Be strong, and let us be strengthened. How can we learn to love our Creator after reading Genesis 50, the last chapter in Bereshit? Let your tears run. Let your tears run when your father or mother passes. Know that Israel was embalmed, and the Egyptians mourned for Israel 70 days. Know that Joseph did bury his father in the land of Canaan. Know that Joseph lamented and mourned for his father 7 days at the threshing floor in Atad. Give those around you peace that forgiveness is real. You meant to do me harm, but Elohim, Yehovah, Aleph Tav, meant it for good. Speak kindly to those around you. Know that Joseph lived 110 years. Trust that Joseph said to his brothers as he was dying, but Elohim will surely remember you and bring you up out of this land which he swore to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Then Joseph took an oath from the sons of Israel. Elohim Yehovah Aleph Tav will surely remember you, and you are to carry my bones up from here. Know that Joseph died at 110, and they embalmed him and put him in a coffin in Egypt. How can we love others as Yeshua loves us? We can give peace and forgiveness and say, you meant to do me harm, but God meant it for good. Bear one another's burdens. We can be like Joseph. Take an oath proclaiming Elohim Yehovah Aleph Tav will remember you. Produce spiritual fruit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, and self-control. We'll end with the Aaronic blessing. Yehovah will kneel before you presenting gifts. He will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehovah will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards you, bringing order. And he will provide you love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehovah will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you and will set in place all you need to be whole and complete.